Exactly. It's all dungeons. It's also Aga 1, which, it's always fun to see someone complete Aga 1 after Aga 2, just to complete that prerequisite.
Ooh, we get some shade from Uncle right away. Well, money's not an issue to start, that's for sure.
No, Daaanty using the pug sprite there. I've never seen this rainbow link sprite that Ultyma's using. That's pretty neat.
That is a cool touch, I have to admit. I'm a fan of it. There are a number of folks behind the scenes who designed the custom sprites. They all did a fantastic job.
Yeah, it's like a Diwali link or something.
And in this mode, because it's Uncle Assured, you are starting with a level 1 sword right away. When you don't have that mode, there are other weapons you can start with. You can start with a Magic Fill with Fire Rod, Cane of Samar. And we're already at Master Sword? Is the game saying Aga 1 early?
Yeah, this game is wasting no time in getting your early progression. Master Sword already, I guess that Uncle Assured sword didn't really make much of a difference.
But back to the point to the random weapon variation of standard is that you can also get other items that don't involve magic. You can wind up with bomb strats, the bow, or the hammer. And of those, only the bombs being non-progression. But Ultyma's getting that magic full fill up, always a good call. Now, what our runners are looking for here, they're looking for bombs. Either a bomb drop or out of a chest.
Exactly. And, this is, like I said, this is classic standard mode. This is like what you get in the vanilla game. You have to complete the escape sequence. Ideally, you'd find a bomb so you can check those 3 chests in the back of escape. And you do get the free light cone only during escape here. Daaanty, he got his lucky bomb drop off the green guard and another one as well. So he's set. Ultyma should probably get a bomb drop as well if he continues to kill green guards.
Yeah, he's not getting lucky yet. However, with the Master Sword, the green guards fall in one shot, the blue ones too. Those were the days prior to progressive swords. Nowadays, the quickest Master Sword I've seen was basically a standard seed that had the first chest be the sword.
Yeah, you're referring to the early days of Randomizer where you could find the butter sword immediately, I assume.
Yep, spring 2017. That's exactly what drew my interest to Zelda 3 Rando. Rest is history.
Well, I really do like the progressive sword armor and shield system. It's a great implementation. There's many locations in the game that can have swords, armors, or shields, and every time you get one, it moves to the next one. If you get all of them, then they move to rupees. That's a pretty clever implementation. The developers continue to do really amazing stuff.
Absolutely, and it's amazing to see what they continue to come up with each new version of the randomizer that's been released.
So Ultyma's he hasn't been killing as many of these guards, and unfortunately hasn't gotten either of those 2 bomb drops. This is his last chance to kill the greens, and he doesn't get the bomb. Hopefully he'll have some more luck with the rats and the bats in the sewer. Different enemies have different item pools, so he could still find a single or an 8 bomb drop deeper into the escape sequence.
So to answer a question in chat, the way that the group stages work for this portion of the fall tournament, we started with the qualifier races, and then the top 96 of those who did 5 qualifying races moved on to group stages. And for every group, you race each other 3 times, so it's 15 races total.
Yeah, it's an interesting system. I mean, each player gets to pick one race mode I believe that there's, you get a certain number of vetoes and overrides. That's why we've seen a lot of, inverted and retro sanity types of games. If you know that you have a significant skill advantage over your opponent, then picking hard mode or picking inverted or a different game mode can really give you an advantage. It's an extra layer of strategy that you don't get when everyone plays the same mode all the time.
By the way, Ultyma did get one bomb drop, a 4-pack. So he definitely got his bombs, and he also got enough for Kakariko as well.
Yeah, and that was a very important bomb drop because we got the Moon Pearl and 300 more rupees. That's our bottle vendor money, that's our Zora money, and Moon Pearls obviously are one of our Dark World items to give us Dark World access. So really important back escape. We would have, if we had to come back here later on with the gloves, we can access it through the graveyard. It's not that big a deal, but it's good to get it out of the way.
And you didn't need to open the last chest in the sanctuary because it had the map. Both runners do anyway, and we have 3 crystals in the light world, none red.
Well, they don't have any progression items that tell them to go to a certain place this early in the game. Getting the Moon Pearl and 2 swords, that was a pretty nice escape though. So we'll just go through our normal Kakariko Village route, and we get 80 rupees from our tier 2 tree pull prize. That's a nice find.
Oh, that is always sweet to find when you get that. Ultima's going to be the first to check the Lumberjack cave. This will deter. Now we know we have to battle Agahnim at some point. This determines whether we got to move it up or not. Nope. It can stay in the back of the line for now.
Yeah, it's good game knowledge. A lot of runners won't check that until they get the boots, since it is a boots locked location. But I'm a big fan of getting game knowledge, and so is Ultyma. So he knows that even, he's going to have to do Agahnim, and he's going to have to get the boots at some point, but he's not going to have to come back there. Daaanty will probably route that in later on.
Possibly. The one time I forgot to do that, I checked the fire rod was there, and I just tapped on the seed because I royally blew it on that one. Ultyma did pick up the bombs that were in the Lost Woods. Daaanty did not.
Yeah, Daaanty had quite a few bombs. He got another 4 bomb in the escape, so he's good on bombs, and finding a bottle there in Blindside as well as the lamp. We're going to be able to do our Sick Kid check, and now we do have the logical requirements to do Agahnim.
Yep, they're in logic, and the one reason that they would have to move it up now that I could foresee would be to get access to the Dark World in whole or in part.
Absolutely. They need the hammer and the mitts, or 2 mitt upgrades in order to get Dark World access without you doing Agahnim. That's a lot less important in the all dungeons mode, since you're going to have to do Aga to complete the game. Deciding to take a gamble and route them in, it's not a time loss. If you have the lamp and you have the sword. But I still think we're quite a ways away from doing that. We'll probably see more of the standard routing, at least finish out Kakariko and probably South Shore areas as well.
Wow! The bottle vendor check gave you an even exchange. You don't see that every day.
No, that's fair. I can live with that. It's better than Zora giving you a single rupee.
Yeah, nobody likes the Zora scam.
So we get to find out what the Sick Kid is holding on to today. He's given away a little bit of his remaining health. 1 small heart container. Got just one last check here in Kakariko, and with 9 bombs, Daaanty is in a great situation. No need to purchase anymore. We can just check the library and race game and then be done with this visit.
Well, we're certainly getting enough health to get off to a good start.
Yeah, I think Daaanty, did he pick up a full heart container that Ultyma didn't, or is he just an extra heart piece?
No, there was a heart container at the back of the bar.
Mushroom on the race game. So Daaanty not gambling on doing the race game blind, deciding it's definitely worth going back and picking up though, and I completely agree with that. You don't know what that's going to lead to, but you don't want to take the risk.
Yeah, I can't blame him for not taking that risk, because if you gamble early on a fetch quest item, there's a chance you could get burned.
It's not, you know, it's not difficult to route in the witch. Ultyma also deciding not to gamble on doing the race game blind, and almost saving quitting, but deciding that he's also going to go pick up that mushroom. So Daaanty, looks like we're going to go through the normal South Shore route and find out what's in the dam.
Yeah, well, Ultyma did something that I wound up doing once. Hammer was there, and much to my chagrin, I save and quit without not meaning to, as Daaanty does a really nice fake flipper.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite fake flippers, and you don't see it that often because it's essentially only useful if you get an early mushroom and you need to go to the witch. But you know, it works the same way as the fake flipper that we typically see, you know, south of Ice Palace. You just need to be right by the screen transition when you jump in, and it's a great shortcut to get over here. That's a good call for Daaanty. He's doing a hard reset here, which will give him his mushroom back, having decided that those 10 arrows was not worth it.
Yeah, not a bad play to just do a hard reset, as it's like you never used the mushroom.
Exactly. That will let him do a fake powder glitch with the magic bat later on in the game if he doesn't pick up the powder. And that's something that, you know, it's only a very, very minor time loss by doing that reset, and it can really, you know, really save your butt if you have something on the magic bat.
Speaking of something, we've got the cape in the swamp, or the dam, as it's called.
Keeps
it's not just. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's the flute there is at the dam. That's a lot more value. The keep doesn't really open up anything other than Bumper Cave at the moment, because they have the sword to get into the castle tower.
Well, that's a big break for Daaanty, as Ultyma opted to go right for Mini Moldorm Cave, but that beeping noise is a sign of danger.
Well, he just needs to open this chest, and there's no enemies in this room, so he can do the save and quit or take a death.
I think the save and quit would be slightly faster. It's just couch, and it's just the usual couch cash.
This is an interesting route from Ultyma. Going to Mini Moldorm first. Normally, you'll see somebody check the dam. That's the standard southern route. But he's doing the mushroom check as well, and I'm guessing that he wanted to you know, do the dam and then head over to like a Gina's Cave and Desert. So it's an interesting routing choice. He's got a lot of save and quits though.
Now, the early game does tend to have that. Now, the flute is great at cutting down on that, because you're able to get around the overworld quickly, but it won't save you if you need to get out of Dark World and don't have Mire.
Yeah, it is a little bit unfortunate that both players, you know, they did this the fake flipper to get over to the mushroom right before finding the flute, which would have taken them right there. Ultyma, though, not doing the hard reset. I'm gonna sacrifice that mushroom.
This could be an Eastern play, I think.
Definitely a possibility. It's an unfortunate, and yeah, you're right, it does look like an Eastern play, or at least a Sashirala's check. This is an unfortunate time loss for Ultyma, though, because not having picked up the flute there at the dam, there's a lot of locations that he's just walking around to that he could have easily fluted to.
We got fake flippers, and what's in the island? Just more arrows. And we used to have arrow upgrades in the overworld, but now you have to buy those in version 30.
There's our first medallion, Ether, in the back of Sashirala's closet there. We don't know whether that's going to be needed or not, but it's nice to get a medallion out of the way. Looks like Ultyma is going to be continuing into do an Eastern dip, and this is a little bit of a I would call this an early Eastern dip. I mean, having not done the the dam yet, or the desert area, the Genus Cave, things that look like he was planning on doing.
Yep, to answer chat, this is indeed all dungeons. And you're going to have to go and beat every single dungeon, including both Agahnim fights. Daaanty, on the other hand, opting to go for Zora's Domain, and you can't be hit. That's number one. You get hit in this mode, the game wouldn't know what to do typically in version 1.0. Outside of Rando, that'd be a soft lock, time loss, run over, all that jazz. Here in Rando, that just kills you. Oh, and we got a Cane of Samaria by Ultyma. Ooh, that paid off nice.
It's definitely a very important progression item, but it doesn't have any immediate value. We're looking for, at this point, we're looking for mitts. Ideally, would be probably the most important item that we'd find.
And with Daaanty doing a water walk here to King Zora, if he touches the land, he ends the water walk. Like I said, if he gets hit here, he dies, so he doesn't want that, and he's there. And 500 rupees for a heart container. Well, not the worst thing you could get, but not the progression we want.
So that's nice big key placement in Eastern. Let's do the chest. And oh no, what a hint. Arrows on the magic bat. They went through so much trouble to save their mushroom, and then it's just going to be arrows.
Well, maybe all these arrows means that we're going to find the bow very soon.
It would be nice, but I don't think the game works that way. I kind of actually miss the bomb and arrow capacity upgrades. At least a few of them.
Now, I don't know if it would be possible to create bomb arrows in A Link to the Past, but imagine how amazing that would be if they were to pull that off.
I'd rather have some ancient arrows.
Quick trip to the desert. You see bombs at Desert Ledge. You're not going to need those. I mean, you can pick those up if you run out, but I doubt that's going to happen. Oh, and that's just a compass. Well, if the bow is at Turtle Rock or being held on by Vitreous, then you know that was a mandatory double dip, so we shall see.
Yeah, we got two of the items out of Eastern. The Cane of Samaria, that's the big one for the moment. Ultyma finally doing the dam. Going to be rewarded with that flute. It's going to make the navigation much easier. And Daaanty picked up a nice head of magic.
It's always nice to find, especially on a seed where you know you're going to have to fight some magic intense bosses, such as Cold Stare, such as potentially Mothula, such as definitely Trinex. Yeah, that's a bonus plus.
Yeah, they've been pretty generous with health so far, and having the two swords, the cape, the cane. they have quite a few options when it comes to defeating enemies. This is the route that I originally expected Ultyma to take, the dam heading into Agahnim, and it just looked like he got sidetracked by going to Eastern and then turning in the mushroom and then going to up to Zora.
And this just in, Daaanty checks in with the old man and tells us that the green pendant is at Skull Woods. Ultyma will be pleased with this pickup, but with green pendant being Skull Woods, that means Sahasrara cannot be holding on to the fire rod, because that would be a soft lock on Winnable Sea.
Yeah, chat asking what's still available that we haven't seen so far. Well, the flute gives us access up to Death Mountain without the mitts, so that's one place we can get to, and the lamp will let us rescue the old man. So there's one item there. There's the item in the Spectacle Rock Cave. So both of those are currently in logic, and of course we can go defeat Aga and get Dark World access. And we can't really go anywhere, but we can find out what's in the pyramid and take an early dip into the front of pod. I think that's about most of what we can get to.
Yeah, at this point, it's seeming like an Aga 1 early to proceed is apparently necessary. It would have to take something big up on Death Mountain for that to not happen. We'd have to have a hookshot over to East Side, or we'd have to hit Runner, both mitts, or mitts hammer, just so we wouldn't have to have that fight early. It's a long shot, though, so don't expect it.
Well, I think it's worth checking Death Mountain, and Ultyma is heading up that way. There's 2 items we can get here, as well as a hint, and if they go in to do Aga, they still can't really do much other than the front of Palace of Darkness without the mitts. They can't get to Catfish without the hookshot. They can't get to Village of Outcasts. So I think these 2 checks make a lot of sense. If nothing else, you're unlocking a save and continue point. That'll give you a full health refill with your flute.
Daaanty just got the news that Ultyma got earlier.
That's a nice rock dodge on Ultyma's side.
Too bad that only led to bombs. That should have been rewarded better. Unfortunately, he gets bonked by the rocks coming out of the cutscene, which is a pretty mean game. Uh-oh. This could be dicey, but he's got a cape and just uses it at the last possible second before Link gets flattened by a Death Mountain boulder. We also get to know what's on top of Spectacle Rock as well.
Yeah, so unfortunately just 10 arrows as the item, and a useful hint there. A piece of heart is with the grumpy fish. So that's gonna let us completely skip the catfish check.
Well, the only way I would not go to catfish at this point is if you had, like, 3 pieces of heart and you just needed 1 more to get you at a comfortable health level. But that's just me. But we're out of options. We gotta do it now to get into Dark World, so Ultyma's making the move to take on Castle Tower Climb in Aga 1.
Yeah, and this means that we're probably gonna find a hammer, mitts, something important sitting out there on the pyramid, because it's that, or it's some of the first chests in Palace of Darkness. Not too many other places we can get to. Even if we wanted to go to Catfish, we can't get up there without the first mitts upgrade. So nice sword spin there. NMG strats for Castle Tower. That master sword really makes that a lot easier. That's a difficult room to do with fighter sword. Very time consuming.
True that. And even with the ether, which would have frozen those guards, it still would have been time consuming.
Danley also picking up that important hint about the catfish not having any importance, and most likely making the same Aga play completely out of options at this point. You got to do it, and you have to do it anyway too, because it's an old dungeon seed, so might as well get it done.
There is a hint in floor 5 in Ultyma's at that room now. That hint could be helpful, but it could also be a community hint, so buyer beware on that one. Oh! Boss has the Bombos medallion. Now that can be required to clear out Ice Palace. Ultyma is almost there. He will be coming up on the Agahnim fight, where the only question is, how many flute shots will he be taking? It'll also be the same amount that Daaanty faces. So what'll it be, chat?
I'm gonna go with 3. That's that's the statistical most likely option, I believe.
Yeah, I think my first NMG run at like 7, but it was a weekly race that I could partake in at the time, so I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna go with 2, just to make it a 2-cycle fight.
Alright, that works. Ultyma heading into the Aga 1 fight here. Daaanty still climbing the tower, but only a minute behind. Yeah, item pool has been pretty generous on the bomb drops so far. I mean, they're both maxed out at 10. It's a shame you can only get 10 without having to buy more.
Yeah, and the upgrades cost 100 rupees each at the... It's where you get the upgrades in the vanilla game. Pond of Happiness. Took me a moment to remember the name.
Yeah, it's a lot happier in this version though, where you don't have to, walk against the railing for 10 seconds every time you don't want to throw 20 rupees in. You can just pick up the item and go.
Yeah, that's much easier. And speaking of easy, perfectly clean, all 6 red.
Yeah, a nice Aga fight, and we get to see that. Unfortunately, there's just bombs there on the pyramid, so Palace of Darkness is the place to be right now. We're gonna have to find a key or the bow in this first chest. I don't think it can be anything else at this point.
Well, it could also be another progression item, but that's pretty much it as to what it can be.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you could have hookshot or mitts or something that leads you elsewhere. If we want to continue in Palace of Darkness, at least, it has to be the key or the bow. And I don't want to have to double dip. Let's get the key, and then we'll find both the bow and the hammer and the mirror, and then just clear this out and then finish Eastern while we're here. Let's make it nice and optimal for the runners.
Yeah, it would be. Is the dungeon dependent or a crystal, though, is the question, and we'll be able to tell by the music.
Yeah, it doesn't matter too much. You're going to have to clear them all anyway.
And it's a crystal of some kind. We know that much.
And so Daaanty finishes up his Aga fight and is also right behind Ultyma's.
With the small key, we move on. Now, what our runners are going to have to be careful of here is in the Dark World, enemies tend to do a higher amount of damage. So, caution is definitely advisable.
Yeah, and this is a red crystal. Got a map check over on Daanty's side. So this is one of our 256 crystals, which will open up access to the Pyramid Fairy by buying the big red bombs. That's always nice to get out of the way.
Yep, and the other one was Misery Mire with a pendant at Swamp Palace. You already got the big key. Now let's make this the key to keep us going. Thank you, game. So with how this pod is turning out so far, we could definitely get multiple progression items here still, because there's still 5 non-dungeon items up for grabs here at most. Don't think we'll get them all in one go, but hey, it's possible. Unlikely at this point, though. Oh, excellent point by chat. They do have a green potion. There is a potion glitch you can do to get the mimics off screen in the first mimic room. That'll enable you to get those 2 chests in the south. And there were bombs on the pyramid.
Yeah, if they... I mean, they already have the big key, so if they get the hammer and the bow, then, you know, they could full clear this dungeon. So far, we're just seeing lots of keys. There's our mirror, so that's going to make things a little bit nicer. Ultyma can just go open up the big chest at the end of the dark maze and mirror out to the beginning. I wouldn't be... I mean... I don't know what the real value of doing the potion glitch in this scenario is. Oh. Okay, there's our hammer. So that's one of the main items we're looking for. Mirror and hammer. If we get the bow, then it'll be what I asked for.
Absolutely, but now we have Tower of Hera and East Death Mountain both available.
And I think the game really does want them to do that potion glitch. There's a red bottle. Just in case they came in here without one.
And a community hint. Nothing special there.
I kind of feel at this point that you should do the potion glitch. Just like the game's screaming at you, go over there. Ultyma opting to save and quit out. But we do quite a few things now. Let's see. Hammer and Mirror opens up the Tower of Hera and the east side of Death Mountain in the light world, at least.
The VODs for the matches, I believe, will be going up sometime soon, and they're also on the channel which they aired. That's the best way I can answer that one. Not so... Oh, you are right on the money there, Wolflink in chat. Because now you do have access to Hype Cave, Stumpy, K45, and Digging Game. So there could be something there, too.
That is an absolutely excellent point. Your Dark World access is still the pyramid, but you can get south with that hammer. I guess you could say this. I mean, this opens up Spike Cave as well. They have the hammer and the cape. That's one more location in the Dark Death Mountain. Actually, that's the only thing on Dark Death Mountain they can get to. But I think this northern route makes a lot of sense. You get items in Hera. You can full clear this dungeon because you have a fire source, and you're getting Spiral Cave and all of the Paradox Cave items on the east side. So there's a lot up here. Oh,
yeah,
my bad on the Spike Cave. Thank you, chat.
The only thing resembling Doma in this game is the statue shooting Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, so Daaanty is following Ultyma's footsteps, not too far behind, and taking the same path here, going up the Death Mountain as well, choosing not to do the Southern Dark World route. Southern Dark World would give you you know, let's see, 5 items in Hype Cave, and then Stumpy Cave and the Digging Game. So it's 8 items up. You know, that would not be a bad check.
Yeah, both were good choices. The same hit in both spots here? Game variety, please. Uh-oh, that key makes the basement item 50-50.
Yeah, I've several of the races I've seen, I've had the same hint appear more than once. I don't know. You think the odds of that happening would be pretty low, but it happens quite often.
Yeah, but normally you don't see it in the same dungeon. What gives?
That's a good point. Yeah. So, Ultyma using the sword here is a little bit of a more difficult fight, and he does get knocked off, unfortunately. Using the hammer makes that fight go a lot easier, in my opinion, than using the sword.
The only trick with the hammer fight, though, is the hammer tends to have a pretty funky hitbox.
Ultyma is switching over to hammer strats. You avoid the fast spin phase, and you can do that with Master Sword spins as well, which does the tempered damage. But if you hit him once with a sword poke or anything like that, then you mess up the cycles. So nice second attempt on Ultyma's side, and that is the compass. So we do have an item in the basement still. At this point, you're probably going to want to go back and get it.
But Ultyma is not. This is definitely a gutsy gamble if I ever saw one.
Did I miscount there? Is there not an item in the basement?
Maybe that's possible, although thought I saw the map in the basement, so yeah, he's leaving an item behind. Like I said, this is a huge gamble. Honestly, one that I don't think I'd be willing to take myself, even if I felt behind. That's just me, of course, but yeah.
There are a lot of other locations that have very high item density open, and you're gonna have to come back up here later on if you want to check the Ether Tablet or Spike Cave. So it's not like you're orphaning, just one spot. It's, I wouldn't say it's a major gamble at this point. It's just a choice. Daaanty, unfortunately, taking a second Moldorm fall there, using the hammer, but just got unfortunate positioning. Is that not the day for Moldorm fights? Both of them having issues with getting knocked off.
So far, Ultyma getting the magical boomerang and a heart container.
Yeah, not a great boomerang. I'd like the blue boom, but it does let us check out the stun prizes now if we want to. And there's a bow in Paradox Cave, so that lets us full clear Palace of Darkness and Eastern. We also pick up the book, giving us desert access, and we could check that Ether Tablet. Wow, that's a great Paradox Cave.
It really is. Didn't check Spike Cave though.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
I meant Spiral Cave. Excuse me.
Yeah. Chet corrected me on that one, but yeah, he did Spiral Cave on the way down.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he went down on Spiral, then back up in Paradox. So, Ultyma, looks like we're going into Dark World now. I'm going to take advantage of that hammer and do our Southern Dark World checks. Get those 8 items. We still haven't seen mitts 40 minutes in, or the gloves, rather.
Probably because I said that, someone is going to put that in a Zelda 3 ROM hack. I can picture it happening, too, because you have enough people on the internet, plus people who have enough time in their hands to actually make that sort of thing. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen.
A spike roll cave. Oh, don't be so cruel, man. Don't do that.
Hey, it's not as cruel as having to do a triple dip House of Darkness. Had a weekly seed that did that. That was rude, to say the least.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Ultyma not choosing to go to pod. He's doing these southern checks first. You know, you do have the ability to finish off both pod and eastern now, and just knock out that entire area. If there was a glove back there, and then they pick up the second glove upgrade here, then they can go directly north into Kakariko, save a little bit of time.
Would be quite the timestamp, but unfortunately that's not the case. However, Hype Cave does have at least blue mail, so that saved it from being a complete bust.
Not a complete bust, but more of a 2 out of 10. I like mail upgrades, so I'm going to give it an extra point.
Randomizer can be really cruel, that's all I'm going to say about that. Oh, there's our glove.
Finally. This seed is a great example of why you really want to do that bomb farming in the escape sequence. We had the moon pearl on the back of escape, and normally you say, if I miss those chests, I'll just pick up a glove and I'll go back and get that. But the glove was Dark World locked, so they would have had to go all the way back to the front, and that could have been a big advantage if only one of them picked up those bombs. It really does make a difference in standard mode.
Yeah, that could have been bad if that had actually happened to one of our runners, because the pearl was definitely required early.
I need a lot of digs in this game.
Best be worth it.
No, got a big 20. That's not worth all those digs. So we're kind of at the end of the road here. We don't have the Titan's mitts, so we can't continue north.
Not so fast.
Not so fast.
That's because that lift upgrade opened up the west side of Dark World for our runners.
Yeah, it's like 2 lift upgrades is optimally what you want there, where you can just walk straight into the Village of Outcasts instead of having to take this alternate route. Though, fortunately, Ultyma did remember that he had the flute and didn't try to walk past using Bolt over there. The light world is a little bit more difficult once you kill Aga 1. All those guards get a nice big difficulty upgrade.
Yep, and those red ones have high aggro. They will go right after Link the moment that Link moves into their same screen. Head check? No, not so fast. This is looking like a quick dip into Skullwoods, which could go into a head check. Oh, it was Paradox Cave. And our glove was held by Snubbly.
So nice big key location here in Skullwoods, in the middle there. So Ultyma can't go any more into the back without the fire rod, but that big key does let him drop down here and do all the front and get all the items. So we'll get to find out at least how many items are in the back of Skullwoods. We also have everything we need to full clear Thieves Town, including the big chest. So we're in a nice position on progression here. And we still have the ability to go back and full clear Pod and Eastern, so there's a lot of options open. Those gloves really make a difference.
No doubt about that. Good try on the bomb jump, didn't pay off. That tells me that the area to the west of the big chest probably has something.
Yeah, we haven't seen any items yet. We got a key, 2 keys, and a map. 2 chests there. Ooh, that's value. Titans.
Oh, that's why you couldn't get in the fast way. The Titan mitts were there. Now, they don't have any means of accessing it, but as soon as they get flippers, as well as fire rod or bombas, then you've got Ice Palace in Logic.
Yeah, I'd say Ice Palace is kind of a low priority. What was up there on the ledge? That went by so quick. We'll see if I can see on the restream what it is. Oh, the blue boomerang. Okay, bumper ledge. I'd say absolutely required, but probably not in the runner's opinion.
Well, for those who follow Lord Banana, that might be required, but not this time. I think it's a case of blue boomerang. Lord Banana understands what's going on, so yeah.
Oh, there we go. Boots in Graveyard Ledge. That is an excellent location for him because you can immediately check King's Tomb. It doesn't get any better than that.
Does trip the portal, though. I think he did that on purpose to take the portal with him. Yep, that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, it's an extra couple mirrors here. He has to mirror for King's Tomb. He's going to have to mirror for the Bonk Rocks. But it's still... I don't know if it's any faster than checking these in the light world and fluting back to Kakariko Village now that you have the Titan's mitts. It's probably a wash either way.
Yeah, but I think he might have a reason for keeping the portal.
Well, presumably the Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town. And Daaanty is just taking the exact same path here. Going into Graveyard Ledge right now, he'll be getting his boots. And really no options for diversions between these runners. They've been forced on a very linear route.
Yeah, the only real divergence that could have happened is if, for some reason, one of them opted to finish Pod Eastern right away.
Yeah, Pod Eastern was an opportunity, and of course the Southern Dark World versus Death Mountain as well, but ultimately they would have been forced to converge after not too much time. There's 3 locations here. I like getting all of these locations out of the way in Village of Outcasts. Just don't check 1 and then go into Thieves Town and check 2. Just check all 3 so you don't forget. There's a lot we can do here. 3 locations, 4 items in Thieves Town, the Smith's Chain if we want to. So much is open.
Oh, hey, there's the ice rod.
Nice item to get out of the way.
So that takes the trolley go mode item off the table.
Yeah, Ultyma not checking the bombable hut before going into Thieves Town. So if this was me, I'd forget that coming out, but hopefully he'll remember.
Usually what I do, and this is just me, I'm hitting the bomb hut after Thieves Town, and then I'm routing south. So that could lead into the blacksmith purple chest chain.
Yeah, you'd be pretty bad to forget that, which is why I'm not worried about Ultyma or Daaanty remembering it. This is Daaanty doing a blind Graveyard Ledge here, not having checked it earlier. But you have the boots. It makes a lot of sense. Just 50 rupees though.
B-Torp was here on Ultima's side.
So I think that evens out the one little bit of game knowledge that Ultyma had that Daaanty didn't was Lumberjack. He's making his way into Village of Outcasts now. Presumably we'll check the exact same things and also do this full clear Thieves Town. Makes a lot of sense.
Yep, you're right here while you're checking overworld locations, so you might as well.
It is. It's nice to see the boots. Last seat I commentated, there were 2 hints, that the boots were in Ganon's tower. It's like, I mean, how mean is that?
My last seed could be worse. The hint in Mire said that the mirror was in Ganon's tower. The mirror was blocking at least one sword upgrade. Half magic expectable rock, silver arrows and Minikane. So it was basically the seed forcing you to do a silverless master sword fight. And I wasn't in the mood for that, so I sought out a sword before at least doing silverless temper.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty close, both in Thieves Town. I think chat's correct that that Ultyma still has to do the Zora checks that Daaanty did. Just looking at the rupee count, that pretty much lines up.
Desert Palace is open to our runners by lodging. Oh, hello, Silvers.
Yeah, silver is nice to have, especially with the reduced arrow capacity of this version. But not an improvement for this dungeon, because you fortunately cannot one-shot blind with your silver arrows. That would be pretty sweet. And I agree, sausage is the worst. Not a big sausage fan.
Neither am I, but that punch is pretty bad even for blind standards.
So this is the hint tile in Thieves Town. I think is really interesting. I mean, we saw Daaanty check it, and you know, it was a joke tile. It's probably one of the most time-consuming hint tiles. You have to climb up the stairs, check it, go back down, hit the switch box, the crystal switch again. Not really sure if that one's worth it.
Yeah, for that to be a community hint, that's a real time-consuming troll. Now, there is a 1 in 3 chance that our runners can access Mire, and if they can, that would give them access to both Mire and Desert back-to-back, which would be quite the time save as well.
Yeah, it looks like Ultyma is probably going to do these overworld checks first. You know, we can do the... we know Magic Bat is nothing because we saw that hint. But we still have the Frog, the Hammer Pegs, and you can do Purple Chest into the Bombos Tablet, and, you know, and then do, like you said, Mire Desert. With silver arrows, there's no real reason to hold off on doing Mire if you can get in.
Yeah, I guess silver's, well, when it comes to the Vitru's fight, silver arrows. Oh, hey, Fire Rod, hallelujah. What a play by Ultyma.
This is a super, super generous seed. I mean, they're just being handed everything they need.
I do have one question, though. What's the catch? We still know we need the hookshot, and we still know we need the flippers. Are those going to be the items that troll us? Because right now, there's a possibility that either or could be in Turtle Rock.
Potentially, but they have so many dungeons that they can full clear right now. You know, they can at least just go ahead and do those.
Ultyma doing a quick desert ledge check, and now he's going for the Mire Shed area.
Yeah, 2 items here in Mire Shed, a 3rd item in Checkerboard Cave. We've already seen Agahnim's Cave on both players' side. So
that's Ether.
Is that Ether? Okay, wow. Then they have the boots, so the boots gives them logical access to Mire. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't just clear it at this point.
Now, chat does bring up a point. The hookshot could very well be in Ganon's tower, but it would only be available in certain places. It would be basically on the right side, on the torch, or upstairs prior to Moldorn 2.
That's true. I really wouldn't be worried about where the hookshot is at this point. There's just so many things you can do. Hookshot really isn't a limiting factor. It's all they need it for is the Argus fight and the back of Swamp.
So Ultyma opting to go for Desert first. Not a bad play.
Yeah, doing I mean, if you find some kind of sword or armor upgrade, it's going to make Mire a little bit easier. And it's not really anything that... I mean, you don't really need to make Desert any easier. Desert's already a really easy dungeon.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the items in the dungeon is on the torch, and it's a big 20.
So get some... Go ahead.
So we knew that was going to be a small key due to how the key logic works in Desert. But Ultima's going to head up and defeat the boss. I'm okay with this, because if this turns out to be an item, you just save yourself time from doing Eastside Desert. If it's not, it's no big deal to go back to.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We get to see a little bit of divergence here. Daaanty, having picked up that fire rod, is going to immediately take advantage of it and finish off Skull Woods. This might be the opportunity that chat's been waiting for, where we can do our pedestal check.
Could be. Chat always loves the pedestal check.
I think the best hint in the game that I've probably seen is the one that tells you what's on Left Side Swamp. That's a great hint to get.
That, as well as what's fire-locked in Misery Mire, because that can really help narrow things down considerably.
That's a good one, too. And you called it, Leslie. There's the item.
Well, nothing but couch cash, but it does save time versus clearing out. I missed something.
Sorry, Daaanty almost got Wallmastered. The Wallmaster ate his fire rod shot. Very, very lucky.
Yeah, no kidding. He could easily be at the start of the dungeon right about now. That was close.
Ultyma did not find any items that's going to make Misery Mire any easier, but it's already a pretty doable. I mean, they have the lamp, they got the cane, they got the silver arrows for the boss, everything they need. Daaanty having a little trouble with the Mothula fight there, down to only 2 hearts of health, but pulls it off.
Nicely done. That is a tough fight. And out of all the bosses here, as he picks up 300 rupees for his trouble, all of the bosses, that's easily my least favorite one to run into, and the one I've spent the most time practicing, because that fight is just rubbish, especially in the chamber it's in.
Yeah, a little trouble with the Master Sword, and ended up using hammer strats. But I gotta throw it, and we find out the pedestal has just couch cash, so it's time to move along. I didn't think about this ahead of time, but Daaanty's route here is actually really nice. He got the green pendant prior to going back and doing Pot and Eastern, so that's one more item over there that he can route in.
That's a good point. Not something I would have thought of doing at times, because normally I'm just seeing what's in front of me and just going for it, not thinking maybe hold off. No, I'm just going forward straight ahead.
And Ultyma's making his way through Misery Mire. We get to do those 2 fire lock rooms that you were talking about. This would have been a nice hint to find. We'll probably find a hint afterwards telling us that we didn't need to do these. Yeah,
or you find that hint right before dropping down to the big key chest. I've seen that happen before.
Yeah, he's skipping the cutscene room. And Daaanty taking an alternate route here, can turn the purple chest in, and also, I think this will be our first look at the Bombos medallion, unless I completely missed it on Ultima's side.
Nope, first look confirmed.
Yeah, I always say that I would be a really bad tracker just because I missed the most obvious things.
And nobody's perfect when it comes to that. That looks like Ultima's got to take another shot at the big chest room.
Yeah, it's one location where having the hookshot really does make that room easier, but it's not too difficult, as Ultima showed us, to get around there with the boots. So we're done on that. We're heading down to Vitreous. Daaanty gives us our Bombos check, and it's just 5 rupees there. So he's following into the desert. Mire checks now.
So Ultima missing the big key chest here might be a calculated play, because remember, a hint earlier said that Bombos is on a boss. If that boss is Vitreous, then that takes that off the table.
It's a good point. We don't actually know if they need Bombos for anything, though. They have the Fire Rod for Ice Palace access, and unless the Turtle Rock Medallion is Bombos, could be, completely unneeded item.
Well, it makes Cold Stare Phase 1 much faster, though.
Yeah, looks like he was going for the spooky glitch there, but didn't quite pull it off using normal strats to get back here. It's a good attempt, though. So, time for a very easy Vitreous fight with these silver arrows. This could be a difficult fight if you only had the Master Sword. Very difficult if you only have the hammer. But it's a cinch with silvers. I say that, then he takes the hit. Still have to be careful.
Yep, always exercise caution no matter what.
So, it's a question for Chad about the common Cold Stare fight. Fire Rod is faster than the Bombos Medallion, but Bombos Medallion will use less magic, so it'll give you a couple extra Fire Rod shots. So it makes the fight a little easier, but it is slower.
And it is nothing but net for Ultima, as the bug net was on the boss.
Ultima, I think at this point, is going to go do some cleanup. Looks like we'll see that, the pod and Eastern plays. Not having done Skull Woods, he won't be able to turn that green pendant, and that's, one routing advantage Daaanty's going to have when he heads over to this area.
We don't know what green pendant is at this point, so we don't know if that routing advantage is a material advantage or just a whole lot of nothing. The jury's out on that one.
Yeah, when you're doing all dungeons mode, and you're going into full clear all the dungeons, you're getting so many items that the chances of any one is going to be less valuable. I mean, not really. They're all still random, but you're most likely going to check everything.
And Ultyma's starting this out with Easter.
Mire, I like the hint. The boots are above the pose. That's one that you have to stop and think about for a second.
Yeah, that's only slightly minor old news, all things considered.
Graveyard Ledge is one of those, potentially out of the way locations. So that that could be a really important hint if you, didn't have the nice optimal route that these guys did. And there's our Bombos medallion. So another hint tucked away.
So that takes that off the table, and now we have our second medallion.
Yeah, unless we have a Quake Turtle Rock, we're good to go. Like I said, the Bombos, especially with half magic, probably not going to see any use in Ice Palace. Fire Rod is just so much quicker, and it does use less magic, for everything but Cold Stare. Oh god, Ultyma, you can't shoot the bomb, shoot the wall. I'm
pretty sure we've all done that at some point.
Ultyma must have heard your request for the bomb arrows and was trying to test them out.
We'll have to put a request in with the devs for that one. It would be like Boomstick from Zelda 1, Rando, but one. Oh, hey, speaking of, now we have all the medallions.
Did they put bomb arrows into Zelda 1?
No, what they want have what are known as boomstick flags. What this does is that it turns the book's fire into hit positive. So now the book is in the rare shop. At least for those scenes, anyway.
Alright, so there's Misery Mire complete for Daaanty. Gonna knock out Desert here. Ultyma just about done here in Palace of Darkness. So I think after this for Ultyma, I mean, he can do Skullwoods. Not really any urgent need to do that. I like the appeal of Turtle Rock. I mean, you have Turtle Rock, you have Mimic Cave, that's all full completable, and you also have Super Bunny Cave and the first item in Hookshot Cave that you can do. So there's a lot of items up there. I would do that before Ice Palace. What do you think?
Definitely a good call there, for sure. Plus, you might need Hookshot for something in Ice Palace, but at this point, that seems highly unlikely.
Yeah, the thing about Ice Palace, yeah, I mean, you have to keep in mind Hookshot logic in certain circumstances, but very rarely do runners actually need the Hookshot. Usually, they're able to utilize bomb jumps and get the keys they need to skip the Hookshot locked sections. Even if technically you're supposed to get it.
Is this a big bomb play for Ultyma?
Yeah, that actually makes sense. There's only 2 items here. But if one of these is the Hookshot, then that's 3 or more items that he can get to when he does Hookshot Cave. It's not a very time-consuming check, especially with Aga completed. This is actually a pretty quick check.
Yeah, that definitely speeds things up, no doubt about it. And if you want to know an obscure way of having to check Aga 1, well, try having a hammer in the pyramid. That will do it. Without a doubt. Because you would have to clear Aga 1 just to be able to get the big bomb over there.
Yeah, and actually, that's a good point, Shep pointing out. I was talking about how Ice Palace isn't an optimal play, but they don't have the flippers, so they're not even supposed to be able to get there yet.
There is fake flipper into Ice Palace. That is always an option. Oh, hey.
There is our Hookshot in the pyramid.
So that was a required play without a shadow of a doubt. So now Turtle Rock is in Dark Death Mountain are looking real good to me.
Yeah, wow, great routing. I mean, that was a great play from Ultyma. So I mean, we were having some issues here and I might have missed it, but did Daaanty turn in the green pendant on his way over to pod? Or before he hit the pod?
I'm not too positive. I'm pretty sure chat saw it though.
I just saw comments as so much for the green pendant routing, but I don't know if it was actually turned in or not.
Oh, not claimed yet. Good to know.
So that could still have our flippers. It's still, that's probably I think it's the last item that we need is flippers. And that was weird, not doing a Hookshot Cave. Ultyma, checking the He's checking the TR medallion, but he has all the medallions, so it doesn't really matter.
That might be force of habit.
Yeah, that feels like force of habit. Yeah, and unfortunately, this is an all dungeon seed, so we do have to, even if we can fake flipper to Ice Palace, we do actually need the flippers for Swamp Palace. Logic be damned, we have to get the flippers. The TR pendant was Bombos, but don't need it.
Apparently there's a sword on the floating island? Didn't see that
There
earlier.
is. Yeah, tempered sword sitting up there on floating island.
Well, that makes this absolutely worth it, because you don't want to have to low percent every boss in the game. Not fun.
Well, it's worth pointing out that that item is accessible without the hookshot. You know, you can still get that as well as the first item in Hookshot Cave. But I mean, it's still great that, you know, he did get the hookshot. You're able to cross everything off on Hookshot Cave. And while you're up here, coming out of Turtle Rock, you can also do Spike Cave if you want to. The Ether Medallion and that last chest in Tower of Harris still needs to be checked.
Yeah, I don't think that last chest was anything important, though.
Daaanty finishing up on Pod. Gonna do Eastern, and then I want to see what that green pendant is. Hopefully he'll remember to turn it in.
Interesting thing to note, even though he put the portal there, he can definitely get past that if he were to just hurt himself with the bomb and just bomb jump past it, basically.
Was that the second double hint? I know it was the second time we got that boots in.
Ooh. Yep, that is the exact same time. Oh, hello, that is go mode.
Yeah, flippers, that's all we need. That's go mode for Ultyma. Hour and 17 minutes. Damn, that's nice.
It's always nice when the routing comes together like that.
Yeah, and they haven't even dipped into swamp or ice. I mean, flippers being your go mode item means you get to, you know, speed through those two dungeons. Wow, this is a lot of time. And the big key in the first chest of Turtle Rock. It's gonna be a fast TR.
Yeah, there's no doubt about how quick this Turtle Rock's gonna go by. You're not checking Mimic Cave, you're not checking anything else. Ice Palace, the execution there is hitting the bomb jump. Swamp, you can just shoot right through it. And Skullwood, the back of it.
The really nice thing about early big key in Turtle Rock is you get to skip the vanilla big key chest. You don't even care what it is. If you have to look in there for the big key, it's always a time-consuming gamble.
Yeah, lately when I've had to do that, I've walked out with the keys, so I didn't really have to do Visa Bridge, except for like maybe one seed, so sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't.
So we know it's not going to be a major item, but Daaanty, let's just turn in that green pendant just for fun. Coming out of Eastern, gonna do not gonna do the trick you were talking about to get through that portal.
Yep, he might have gotten a hint that it was not anything important, and he's on the right track, I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, unfortunately though, you know, he's going into Turtle Rock and he's going in without that hookshot though. So when he gets the flippers, it's not going to be go mode for him. He's going to have to check all these additional locations that Ultyma is skipping, and you know, even after this, if he doesn't do Pyramid Fairy, then you know you might have to full clear swamp, full clear ice. Well, not full clear swamp, obviously, no hook shot. But we're seeing things like this ether medallion check that Ultima's not going to have to do.
Surprised Ultima's not getting the big chest, because I have had a small key there before.
He's okay on keys now. I think that maybe he had an extra key early on. He didn't need it. But I know he's got enough keys now.
Yeah, looked like a bit of a gamble as he is dipping the potion, which is always a good call to make. Especially really well. Be careful of doing that in the doorway, though. I've heard there's a certain glitch you can trigger by doing that at a certain frame, but I'm not familiar with the specifics.
Oh, okay. So thank you to chat for clarifying that there was a green pendant hint. That's what the conversation was about that I missed. And so Ultima not having to do the vanilla big key chest, not having to do mimic cave, not even having to open up the big chest for a key. Already at Trinex, it's been less than 2 minutes, super fast. Daaanty working his way up the mountain, doing super bunny cave, but no hook shot. He's going to be doing a lot of extra checks, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about this part of the seed is that you can make all the checks in the world, but if you didn't make the right check first, you could get burned, and that's pretty much what we're seeing here.
Absolutely. We didn't have any hints telling us to go do Pyramid Fairy, so that was just, a routing decision that paid off.
And oftentimes, that's all it takes in these races is one decision that pays off in a very good Trinex second phase from Ultyma.
Got a little bit of trouble in phase 1. Didn't switch over to the fire rod, so the ice head did get to mess up the floor a little bit. Tempered sword makes this a much easier fight, though. It's a tough fight to do with the hammer.
Yeah, that's basically the low percent fight right there, and that's the difficulty of that. As someone who has done that fight and practiced for that particular fight, it's tough.
So Daanty's making his way into Turtle Rock. He's going to be able to full clear this dungeon with those additional extra checks that Ultima was able to skip. So it's a little bit of a time loss, but it's still progression. Ultima, meanwhile, just gunning his way down to Swamp Palace. Is just picking up crystals and pendants from this point out.
Now, there is one chest before Argus that's pretty much not very far out of the way. Will Ultima stop for it, or is he going to skip it? The only reason you'd stop for that is if you're hoping for like a sword or an art container at this point.
I think there's no harm in picking up like the waterfall chest. If you're running right past it, a lot of players will still get those types of chests in Go mode. Daaanty, you can see, not having the hook shot, that's like the long way around this room. That's one extra disadvantage that he's facing. Not having that mobility item. Hook shot really does come in handy.
That's basically how I cleared that room as my first time getting 2 Turtle Rock playing this game in my teens. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the way you're supposed to clear it, Leslie. I don't think anyone intended you to hookshot yourself into the pit as the intended strategy.
Yeah, I don't even think the devs had that in mind, to be fair.
Yeah, and it's funny now, like we see that and we call the normal route the alternate route. But that's actually the way you're supposed to do that room.
Some trouble here with the chain shop room.
Yeah, the Samaria block just kept lining up on the wrong side. Ultyma, not checking the first chest, not checking the compass room chest, going straight to the back. Exactly what you do when you're in go mode, and you have everything that you need.
It's a beautiful thing when you can go mode Swamp Palace, because versus a full clear, you're saving something like about 5 minutes or some crazy amount of time like that. So when you can go mode Swamp Palace, you definitely take it. But on Siege, where that doesn't appear to be an option and the signs are pointing there, it would probably be in your best interest to just go along with it. But that's just me.
Ultyma. That's a little bit
That might have just been old habit right there.
Yeah, that's muscle memory.
Yeah, that is muscle memory too, because for those of us who have played hundreds of randomizer scenes, most of them we are checking everything in Swamp Palace, including those chests. So I cannot fault Ultyma for that at all. That's kind of comical if you think about it.
I can't fault him for going down there, but I will fault Ultyma for not opening the chests once you go in that room. I mean, at that point, you might as well just open them.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Looks like Ultyma went for a strat where you can actually grab 2 of the puffs off, but it didn't quite get it off fast enough, so gonna clean things up the normal way.
Yeah, not a bad Argus fight, and that's a nice mail upgrade. Ultyma wouldn't go out of his way to pick it up, but if it's going to fall from the sky, I guess you as well grab it. Especially if the pendant won't fall until you get it. Daaanty, we're seeing the path not taken. We got a shield and mimic cave and a full heart container there, in the TR big chest. He has to do all these checks until he gets that hook shot. He can't go mode anything, and potentially risk leaving the hook shot behind.
So that means there's a chance he could enter Swamp thinking it. Oh God, I hope to God he doesn't do that, because I'd feel bad. Because as a runner, we've all been there.
That's definitely a possibility. I think most likely what we'll see is him, maybe check Spike Cave coming out of Turtle Rock, probably full clear Ice Palace, which is it's also a very long time commitment. But he did get the flipper, so it's logically pointing him over to Ice as the next destination.
Best case scenario is that hint that Ultyma skipped points Daaanty in the right direction.
Daaanty taking the safety door there at Turtle Rock, not a bad idea this low on health. These are items that we did not even see on Ultyma's side, because he had early keys and did not need to do Laser Ridge at all. So chat pointing out as well, and I think Leslie, you mentioned this when we first started this race, but it's good to mention again, due to the fact that Swamp Palace is a pendant. It's very possible that the hookshot could have been in Ganon's tower, not deep in the dungeon, but at least in the beginning chests. So that could be something that Daaanty might think about. We would presume that he would check Pyramid Fairy before that, but it's definitely a possibility with a seed like this, with all dungeons mode.
Certainly is Ultyma having a bit of trouble with that bomb jump, and that bomb jump can be quite finicky, but he got it.
And Daaanty also having a little trouble with the ice head, and got some ice on the floor. Not the day to fight Trinex.
But he did get the pause menu off in time, so a little bit better phase 1.
Yeah, I love watching a go mode Ice Palace. I mean, despite, you know, a few attempts there on the bomb jump, it's just so fast and it's so much fun to skip the freezers, you know, just skip the big chest, skip all of right side Ice T, just go right for the boss. This is the best dungeon. I love Ice Palace. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it really is. And it certainly, when learning this game, Ice Palace Bomb Jump is one of those recommended to learn things because it certainly saves a huge chunk of time.
Wow, half magic saving the day there for Ultyma, missing that first fire rod shot. It's, I don't know if he thinks he's behind or if he's just, you know, really happy about maybe he thinks he's really far ahead and he's just in a great mood. But he is rushing it.
Yeah, that could have also been an input, enough input that got eaten. It's happened to all of us. So, meanwhile, we get a Spike Cave check from Daaanty. We know it's not the progression he needs, but what will it be?
Yeah, we're getting close to 2,000 rupees, so that big 20 is not the item that we're looking for.
And Spike Cave's got Couch Cash. Well, I wouldn't say it would totally save Daaanty at this point, but it would certainly come a long way in bringing him back into the discussion, might making things a little bit closer. So which will this be? Swamp or Big Bomb? I'm hoping Big Bomb.
Yeah, I think this is the Big Bomb play. Yeah, this is definitely the Big Bomb play. So good for Daaanty. Unfortunately, it's you know, probably too late. Ultyma has a nice lead at this point, but this does put him on the right track. We just have a quick molecular kill, and then that is our 10th dungeon, and we'll be on our way to Ganon's Tower. Having already completed Aga 1, it's just a normal GT run, and then Ganon. That's all that's left. Hour 32 in on an all dungeon seed. This is a very nice, very fast seed.
Looked like Daaanty was trying to set up a bomb dash, but missed it, down to 2 hearts, and is just going to go about it the Mire way at this point.
Yeah, the Cape has actually seen quite a bit of use this game from both of our runners, whether it's dodging enemies or dodging Death Mountain boulders. Cape has earned its worth.
It always does when it comes into play in a seed. Speaking of items earning its worth, sometimes I'll just use the Ether Medallion in the Torch Room just to clear all the Gibdos out quicker and use less magic, as Daaanty is now in go mode.
Yeah, Daaanty gonna just do Swamp Palace and then Ice. This makes sense at this point. That's really all you have left to do. I gotta feel a little bit upset about that. Meanwhile, Ultyma has completed his 10th and final dungeon and is heading up into Ganon's Tower. So I will go ahead and start that race game because this is a game channel. You got it? Go for it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to play the game. Get your 1 through 22 big key location guesses in now. And the first closest guess from a sub or supporter gets a shout out and a spot on the leaderboard. And that is your sub to any one of the speed gaming channels who have cheered at least 250 total bits. I'm gonna go with this one.
It doesn't look like anyone feels like playing the game today. We only had like 4 guesses.
Usually, 79's a bit high. It has to be 1 to 22.
Usually you hit start and then you get the whole wall of text. That's our surprisingly few guesses with 300 people.
Yeah, better hurry it up because the game closes as soon as Ultyma enters Ganon's Tower.
So I'm gonna guess location number 1. In the first chest on the right-hand side. Let's just find it.
Oh, going for the hope chest today. That's pretty cool.
I'm going for the hope room. The seed has just been super generous. Ultyma has had a very nice route, so let's finish it off with some flair.
Okay, contractually obligated to guess the number in your name. Okay, that's fair. And we did find out that the stump prize is a recovery art. I'm okay with that. Hey, ones can happen, but they're a rarity.
Yeah, I've seen the key in the first chest several times. I think in the spoiler log, this is actually called the Hope Room, or like the Hope Chest, or something like that. Two hearts, not even a key, so we can't progress on the right-hand side. We're forced to go left.
Well, there's our first key.
Daaanty's got to be a little bit careful here, heading up to the Argus fight with only 3 hearts.
Well, I'm out. That was number 6.
Daaanty down to 1 heart on Argus, but pulls it off. Nice fight.
Nice job saving it. Not 9, and now I have a bad feeling that it's on the right side because of the no keys that were in the Hope Room.
I've seen it in chest 1 more than I've seen it in chest 9. It's almost never in that chest.
There it is. What number was that?
12. Number 12.
Alright, and that number 12 means... Oh, I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation badly. You want to crack at it?
No, I don't, actually.
We'll just say Ovi and call it simple, because Ovi got the 10 as the closest from a sub or a supporter.
I'm going to go with Ovidius Nasa.
That's much better than what I would have said. I would have butchered it horribly, and I don't think you guys want to hear that, because it would be bad.
Yeah, Ovidius Nasa or Ovidius Nasa. It's actually kind of a cool name. It's actually nice. It's fun to say. If I'm saying it right. If I'm saying it wrong, then it's still fun to say, but... I'm going to shut up. But regardless, Ultyma is in the gauntlet on his way up. Daaanty is, finishing up at the last dungeon. Has been successfully go-moding everything since picking up that hookshot. Skipped all the same chests in a swamp that Ultyma skipped. And is doing the go-mode ice, so he's mentally in the right spot where he needs to be.
Yep, looks like he's lining up the bomb jump and the hookshot. Ooh, nice, first try.
Yeah, I don't know how many safeties Ultyma has. We got that red potion in pod, but I think he used a potion at one point. I don't know what he's got left.
Yeah, he does have the bug net off Vitreous, so if he inclined to catch a fairy, he could.
Yeah, it's actually been really neat this tournament, getting a chance to see some of the different difficulty levels. Did some hard races where you only get a single heart refill instead of an anti-fairy when you use the magic powder. On the expert difficulty, you can't get anything off them, and red potions only give you a single heart. It really gets insane. And I know in the bracket stages, expert becomes an option, so it's going to be some really fun races.
Yeah, no doubt about that. At 0-6, I probably don't have to worry about that, just saying. Oh, by the way, that is a very clever sneak into chat, that Back to the Future reference, and I missed it. GG.
So Ultyma is not even checking any of these upstairs GT chests. Sometimes you might, look for a last sword upgrade, but he's been skipping everything. And then he goes and opens a chest. Freaking darn you, Ultyma!
I don't blame him one bit. He's only got 4 hearts, so
I blame him. I blame him because I was just commenting how he was skipping everything.
Not sure if we'll call that a game knows or the players know the commentator's about to mention it, so they do the exact opposite thing. I don't know.
We're on a 20-minute stream delay, so he's probably lurking in chat, mocking me right now.
We're having a good laugh.
Yeah, my expense. That's fine. Ooh, oh, you do not want to take a death here at Aga.
Yeah, this is like the only green potion. Does he go to the kid? Or no, he unleashes the Storp to harass him.
I would use the cape.
Wow, now the
Shadow Bee.
That's a new one.
Oh my God!
Don't die now, for the love of don't die now.
Oh wow!
Close! Holy smokes, Batman!
That was clutch, Ultyma. Daaanty could have caught up with the death there.
That's clippable for being clutch, in my opinion.
I don't know how you do that and don't switch to the freaking cape. Got full half magic and a green potion.
And he's in the Ganon fight on 1 heart. This is crazy. I'm surprised he didn't go down for the fairy.
Wow. Already into phase 3.
He already used his red potion in pod, so this is literally do or die territory that's in. He might be thinking that his opponent is on his heels, which, I can't blame him for that, but your execution has to be near perfect, or else you're taking a death.
Yeah, we're seeing finalist level of execution.
Yeah, but we're also seeing File's level of trolling on those teleports, as now we know where the Butter Sword was. Here we go, final phase. Missed with the arrow, but going for the potion glitch. Just missed it.
As long as he's safe, he's got... I mean, this is not a difficult phase 4 with arrows. 3 hits in. One more relight here. Just gotta be careful. I think he's got this. I think he's got it.
Oh, he's got this! We got bacon!
There we go.
1 heart bacon! Without getting hit! And wow! That is an ultimate level difficulty challenge of beating Ganon, 1 heart, no safeties. And the Ultyma pulls it off, gets in the Triforce Room, and has won the race with an official SRL time with 1 hour, 45 minutes, 22 seconds. Oh my. That whole fight needs to be highlighted, because that's too long for a clip. That needs to be highlighted, for sure.
I'll admit, I don't have the personality to get as hyped as you went, Leslie, but I agree with you. That was a really hype fight. Definitely GG's to Ultyma. That's good. Oh, gotta bring him in. Hey Ultyma, you've had 20 minutes to catch your breath. Has that been enough?
Yeah, thanks. It was a little tense there at the end.
That was awesome to see a 1 heart for all 4 phases of Ganon, and you couldn't take any damage and you pulled it off. Impressive.
Thank you. I thought Daaanty was right behind me, so I just gambled on it.
The no cape, I'm going to use a B Aga was, I think, even a gutsier play, because you would have had to redo the entire tower if you took a death there. Ganon death isn't so bad.
I love that play. Shadow B was awesome.
Shadow B was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. Now, here's the thing. He was entering the tower as you were wrapping a bag of 2. Had you taken a death, he would have been on your heels.
That's scary. I'm glad I survived.
Yeah, I mean, he still had to, find the big key, and you could have gone straight to upstairs again, but that would have been a big setback. I mean, it would have cost like 4 or 5 minutes right there. If you had full magic and half magic and you still didn't use the cape.
I never really used the cape, so it didn't even cross my mind to use it. I probably should have.
You used the cape to dodge the Death Mountain rocks.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Not Aga 2.
That was terrible. Those cabbages.
That's a little embarrassing, actually, because you're like, that's like a beginner thing, using the cape on the Death Mountain rocks.
I just didn't want to die and then have to walk back.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, if you go back and watch this VOD and talk to Dan, you probably talked to him a little bit in chat, but this all came down to, grabbing that hookshot out of Pyramid Fairy and getting that early go mode. Any thoughts on that? Was just a normal play that paid off, or anything in particular that made you feel that was a good option?
Well, I really want to climb the mountain again. I've climbed it like 4 times already this race, so I figured I might as well go check one of the 2 item locations that I can get still down and hope it's one of them.
Well, that play certainly paid off. Now, the early part of this seed had you guys having to battle Aga 1 earlier to get into the Dark World. Under other circumstances where you didn't have that requirement, would Aga 1 have been your last dungeon before Ganon, or would you have done that some other time right before GT?
Up until I played a race against Faraim the other day, I would have left Aga 1 until the end, but it costed me the race last time, so I think I'm going to do it when I have the option to.
Daaanty had a really nice Aga 2 fight there. If you want to hold the interview for just a minute, we can watch his Ganon fight and then continue with both of you guys.
Okay, sounds good.
He has 6 times as much health as you did.
Important life questions. If we're not meant to have midnight snacks, then why is there a light in the fridge?
Nice bat dodging there. I did take 1 hit, but has now 4 times as much health as Ultyma did. I think Daaanty might have a potion still as well. I'm not completely sure on that.
I don't think Daaanty used his red potion.
Yeah, these teleports were a little bit insane in Phase 3.
Yeah, these were quite rude, and in an NMG run, this many teleports is a major time sink.
Kind of eating the fire rod shot there, but still nice bat dodging. This could be a triple, I think. Nice triple. Very nice triple. Oh, that bat was close. And perfect positioning for the 4th shot. That was a very, very nice, clean Ganon fight. Get your GGs in the chat for Daaanty for a very nice fight.
Very nice fight and a very nice scene, because we got bacon.
And that gives Daaanty an official time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 15 seconds. Less than 7 minutes for having to not go mode so many extra dungeons. Very nice race. And we'll get the invite out to him and get him in here as well if he is interested. Welcome, Daaanty. GG's and fun race to watch.
Thank you, and GG to Ultyma.
Thank you. GGD too, man.
Now, this was certainly a fun race to watch. What turned out to be the difference is that as soon as Ultyma had both red crystals, he went for Big Bomb, and that turned out to be the hook shot, and that was the deciding factor, because he wound up go-moding Turtle Rock as soon as he got the flippers early there. So that was the real difference in this one.
Yeah, I felt really behind after not finding the hook in TR. I kind of have some feelings about this one, because it's like earlier today, I think the Speed Gaming Daily Open Race, the hook was on the pyramid ledge, and I was like, to be sure, it can't be there again. You know, it's kind of like a metagame thing, I guess, at that point. But I was like, to be sure, it can't be there. And then when it didn't show up in TR, I was like, well, I guess it's probably going to be there.
Well, I was at work during the daily, so I wasn't able to catch that. But that is quite interesting that the hook shot wound up being in the same general vicinity as the daily. It's like the game knew or something. I don't know.
it's just one of those, like, I think this entire group stage, it's been one of those deals of, I feel like every 50-50 coin flip I take, I've either guessed heads and gotten tails, or guessed tails and gotten heads. So, you know, one of these days it's gonna fall my way, but we'll just have to keep trying until we see when it does that.
Well, I want to get your guys' thoughts on, actually, just general. What are your thoughts on the hint system? Because I've seen several races now that have, you know, people have used it, and sometimes you see a hint that's like, it tells you what left side swamp is, or in this case, what the pyramid fairy would have been. It would have been a nice hint. This race we got, you know, 2 hints about the boots after you guys already had them. How have you guys incorporated, you know, that into your gameplay?
I usually muscle memory past them.
I wish I could say the same, because I feel like I wasted, you know, at least like maybe 1 or 2 minutes, you know, going out of my way to check hints. But, you know, knowing they're there is kind of like a big, a tempting thing. It's almost like an anti-gamble. I don't want to call it a gamble, because even though you may get knowledge of something, it, you know, sometimes it does put you in the lead, but sometimes, you know, with having that knowledge, I guess, but like it doesn't always. You know, there was like, I think the same joke hint in both parts of Tower of Hera, and you know, I think I did see both of the boot hints, but one of the big ones that I feel like really a lot of people waste time on, me included in this seed in particular, is the one inside Spectacle Rock, because I was hoping I'd blind see either like a glove or a hook shot there, but you know.
Yeah,
well,
I think it
made a lot of sense.
Yeah. I usually YOLO that one, but it was arrows today. Sads.
Yeah, you guys were, I mean, looking for that glove. It was like 40 minutes in was your first glove.
Yeah, I've got it marked as 42. That's terrible.
Yeah, there needs to be like a big lull in chat about 40-minute glove.
So I was wondering, did either of you guys consider? You guys got the hammer and then the bow, you know, pretty close together. Did either of you guys consider like going back to do Pod Eastern like right after you got the bow?
Yes. Did I feel like it was smart? No.
All right. Well, I'll wrap things up unless either of you guys have any final words. We'll say thank you and wrap things up.
I'll just thank you guys for the restream, the comms, tracking, all that stuff. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I kind of want to echo the same thing. Just big thanks to, you know, Speed Gaming for, you know, hosting these, and all of the volunteers that, you know, do the comms, the tracking, the restreaming. It's really cool to see how all this gets thrown together, you know, and being a volunteer myself, it's like I know what people have gone through all this time. So I really do appreciate it.
Well, it was our pleasure, that's for sure. Oh, and also, it seems like my luck so far in group stages is also a bit in the dumps, so that's very much relatable.
Well, I will just take a look at the schedule here. There is a race in progress on Speed Gaming 5 and a race starting in 30 minutes on Speed Gaming 3. That one's an Randomizer race, so that one will be interesting if you guys want to check that out. Ultyma progresses to a 3-5 record at the with this win. Danley will go to a 1-7 in their Group B. So you got to keep an eye on that. So, and otherwise, we'll just you know, post the links there in Twitch chat to give both Ultyma and Daaanty follows. Really fun race. Nice times for an all dungeons, and great Agahnim and Ganon fights from both of our players. We'll my button. That's wrong with my keyboard.
Something not working?
I was just eating an input there. Wanted to say thank you to the Speed Gaming Network for the host. Speed Gaming channels 1 through 6, as always. ALTTP Randomizer channels 1 through 5 can be checked out for races. A thank you to the excellent tracking of Wolflink, and Leslie for joining me on co-coms. That's it for me, and the last words can go to you, Sir Leslie.
It was an absolute pleasure to call this one with you, and thankfully, I did not cause any heart attacks this time. Or near ones, at least. So with that being said, this is always a blast, and hopefully I'll be able to do this again real soon.
Good night, then.